4th grade Battle of the Books for the 2015-2016 school year. The One and Only Ivan by Katherine Applegate. Ivan is a laid-back gorilla who lives at the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. He has no real complaints, as he has grown used to this small domain and the humans who visit him every day. In fact, he barely remembers that he once had another life in the jungles of Africa. Ivan lives out his days with the companionship of his best friends, Stella, a wise old elephant, and Bob, a stray dog. But Ivan's true passion is making art, and he spends his days trying to capture his surroundings through his art. When Ruby, a new baby elephant, joins their group, Ivan suddenly realizes it's up to him to change their lives for the better, and soon. Read more by reading The One and Only Ivan by Katherine Applegate. Poppy by Avi. At the very edge of Dimwood Forest stood an old charred oak, where, silhouetted by the moon, a great horned owl sat waiting. The owl's name was Mr. Oakax, and he looked like death himself. With his piercing gaze, he surveyed the lands as he called his own, watching for the creatures he considered his subjects. Not one of them ever dared to cross his path, until the terrible night when two little mice went dancing in the moonlight. To find out what happens, read Poppy by Avi. The Lemonade War by Jacqueline Davies. Evan and his younger sister Jessie are bored in the last few days of summer vacation. They are also bickering and struggling with the impending school year. Jessie's above-average intelligence is allowing her to skip 3rd grade, and she'll be joining her brother in his 4th grade class. Sibling rivalry rears its ugly head when they start a lemonade stand competition to see who can make the most money. Will they do irreparable damage to the relationship and to take no prisoners lemonade war? Find out by reading The Lemonade War by Jacqueline Davies. 11 by Patricia Riley Giff. On the eve of his 11th birthday, Sam searches impatiently for gifts hidden in the attic of his building. There, he finds an article about a kidnapping of a small boy that triggers distant memories and makes Sam question who he really is and where he belongs. Sam, who has trouble reading, enlists the new girl at school to help him uncover more clues and piece together his hazy past. Find out what happens by reading 11 by Patricia Riley Giff. Snow Treasure by Marie McSwagan. In 1940, the German army invades Norway, and 12-year-old Peter Lundrum's life is changed forever. His father is the local banker, and his uncle Victor is captain of a seaworthy fishing boat. They, along with other leaders in their community, conspire to aid Norway by smuggling over $9 million worth of the country's gold to America, where it will be safely kept out of the hands of the German army. But first, they must get the gold from the town bank down the snow-covered mountainside, below where Victor's fishing boat awaits its valuable cargo. It's up to Peter and the other children of the town to take their sleds and sneak the gold brick by brick past the German sentries. The Germans think that the children look innocent enough, but one soldier who speaks Norwegian seems aware that some plan is afoot. Peter must create a diversion in order to keep the Germans from discovering the entire plot, and he is captured in the process. His only hope for escape lies with his Uncle Victor and a soldier dressed as a German, who might just be on the side of Norway. Find out what happens by reading Snow Treasure by Marie McSwagan. Small Adventure of Popeye and Elvis by Barbara O'Connor. Nothing ever happens in Fayette, South Carolina. That's what Popeye thinks anyway. His whole life, everything has just been boring, boring, boring. But things start to look up when the Jules Holiday Rambler makes a wrong turn and gets stuck in the mud, trapping Elvis and his 5 rowdy siblings in Fayette for who knows how long. Then things get even better when something curious comes floating down the creek, a series of boats with secret messages, and Popeye and Elvis set out on a small adventure. Who could possibly be sending the notes, and what do they mean? Find out by reading Small Adventure of Popeye and Elvis by Barbara O'Connor. Rump, The True Story of Rumpelstiltskin by Liesl Sherliff. In a magic kingdom where your name is destiny, 12-year-old Rump is the butt of everyone's joke. But when he finds an old spinning wheel, his luck seems to change. Rump discovers he has a gift for turning straw into gold. His best friend, Red Riding Hood, warns him that magic is dangerous, and she's right. With each thread he spins, he weaves himself deeper into a curse. To break the spell, Rump must go on a perilous quest, fighting off pixies, trolls, poison, apples, and a wicked, foolish queen. The odds are against him, but with courage, friendship, and a cheeky sense of humor, he might just triumph in the end. Read Rump, The True Story of Rumpelstiltskin by Liesl Shirtliff. Fourth Grade Rats by Jerry Spinelli. Suds doesn't mind being in fourth grade, but he doesn't want to be a rat. Ordinarily, this wouldn't be too much of a problem, except that his best friend, Joey, takes it very seriously. According to Joey, being a rat is the next step up to being a man. And if you're a rat, Joey explains, you can't cry or be afraid of things. You have to leave your lunchbox at home. Make a mess of your room and say no to your mother. You have to push little kids off swings and take their Twinkies. Suds tries to follow Joey's lead, but his heart isn't in it, until the day that Joey lets himself get stung by a bee and doesn't even flinch or cry. Suddenly, Judy Billings, the girl Suds has loved for as long as he can remember, is following Joey around everywhere. If being a rat will get Judy to notice him, Suds figures that he can do it. And if it works, it does work at first. But after Suds rescues Judy's cat, she literally leaves him up in a tree. And he has some time to think about that. Without even realizing it, Suds takes his first real step toward being a grown-up. Read Fourth Grade Rats by Jerry Spinelli. I Survived Hurricane Katrina, 2005, by Lauren Tarshish. Barry's family tries to evacuate before Hurricane Katrina hits their home in New Orleans, but when Barry's little sister gets terribly sick, they're forced to stay home and wait out the storm. At first, Katrina doesn't seem to be as bad as predicted, but overnight, the levees break, and Barry's world is literally torn apart. He's swept away by the floodwaters, away from his family. Can he survive the storm of the century? And alone? Find out by reading I Survived Hurricane Katrina, 2005, by Lauren Tarshish. George Washington Socks by Elvira Woodruff. When 5 kids take a walk along Lake Lavart late one night, a mysterious wooden rowboat beckons them aboard. As if in a trance, they all step inside. But what they don't realize is that this enchanted boat is headed backward in time, to the time of George Washington, and their neighborhood lake has been transformed into the icy Delaware River on the eve of the Battle of Trenton. How will they ever find their way back to the safety of their familiar suburban homes? As Matthew, Quentin, Hooter, Tony, and Katie experience the American Revolution firsthand and learn the sobering realities of war, Elvira Woodruff spins a compelling historic fantasy that won't soon be forgotten. Read George Washington Socks by Elvira Woodruff.